So pause then real quick.
Yeah, I'll
So
speed
you
us
talking
up
about,
through
like,
this, and you guys can go.
yeah, you talked about like the resonance and stuff. And I think as far as like technique and the way that you guys like approach the hands on the stick, it doesn't seem like it's, hey, we need everybody's hands to look the same, which obviously from a physiological standpoint is pretty much impossible for everybody to hold sticks the right way just because your fingers are different lengths, your hands are different sizes.
Thicknesses, palm
Is
size,
there like,
all that.
yeah, all that. So is there like a specific setup you try to go for and then adjust from there? Or is it just like, how do your hands feel the best holding the sticks?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely have like some things that we say, but I would say instead of, it's not like a recipe for this is how to play well. It's more like a set of reminders and little rules that help you move in the right direction. Because right, everyone's hands are different, and I would say that the overall like philosophy seems to be, I don't know that you could even really like write a book. If you gave me 1,000 pages in a book, I don't think I could give you all the answers to like what the approach is. And to be honest, it's Paul's the one who makes it happen. But in terms of sorry, what was your question?
Just as far as like, how the way that you guys approach
The hands,
the technique
like
on the hands on the sticks.
So with the technique, I mean, we're focused on it the same way as like any musician, right? Any guitar player. If you look at the best golfers in the world, they all have a different swing, right? I don't know that much about golf. Who's the best golfer right now? I've heard he has like a
Scotty Scheffler, and he has like what people
awful
would
swing,
awful
right?
feet. Like people would say like you would never teach someone to do that with their feet when they swing, but
So would he be better if he fixed it, right? It's not that the goal is to look like that. Our goal is to look and have like, we have an approach that we want to look like, right? We want to look like Zhang Liao. We want to look like Bryce Freeman, right? Like that's, there's a lot of players that have a lot to offer. And I would say like with anything, the goal is how it sounds and the technique is a means to an end. So it's not, we give technique comments all the time. I think it's just easy to focus too much on that and then miss everything else. And so when I look at like the difference between maybe what we do and what a lot of other groups, I think it's easy if you're not familiar with it to go up and say, it seems like they're playing softer in general. And it seems like the technique isn't, they don't have as defined of a technique. And I think that, that's maybe a mistake in how you approach this activity versus other musical mediums, right? The best drum set players in the world, you care about the feel, you care about the way it sounds, you care about how flexible are they? Can they play with any gig? Can they play a jazz gig and then go play a country gig the next day? And I would say that that's like the most powerful thing that draws people to the group is the educational experience that you get from it, how universal what we learn is. I approach marching snare drum the same way I would approach concert marimba, which is I know that some things I can improve with technique, but I would rather have like, if you think of the sound as a destination and the technique as like a road, you want a beautiful highway going in the right direction, but I'd rather have a dirt road going the right way than a beautiful tollway going to the wrong place. It's not going to help me, right? And that's generally how we look at it. So we try to do it all. We try to, we have the body, we have the visuals, we care about how they look, and there's a visual aspect to it, but we'll never sacrifice that for the sound. And I think that we have like a lot of moments where we're trying to create some expression that maybe doesn't exist. It didn't exist in the activity before. Actually, that's not even true. Sorry. But one of Paul's like biggest influences is, I think 1984, is it Vanguard? There's like some drummer, I think Ralph Hardiman wrote it, and he played it for us. It's like the super quiet, tasty drum feature. So it's been around forever, right? But somewhere along the line, we felt like music equals just tap rolls and rudiments. And in reality, like rudiments are a way to achieve a feel, achieve a character of a piece. And I think that that's something that Paul does better than anyone I know. And bringing together all of these basics of how we play, and then how do we create something that affects people and makes people feel something.
Yeah, it's all just different tools and different means to the same end. Yeah.
And that's why we get a lot of players from a lot of different places. Like I marched with a guy who marched 09 and 10 cadets, and he came to Vanguard in 2011. You would think, how does that work? But because we're so pragmatic and we're just focused on the sound, it doesn't really matter what someone's technique was, before. It matters, what's the sound you're going to make.
True.
Interesting.
Yeah.